How can someone lose $300,000 in a custody battle? Well, I witnessed quite a few cases where that happened on my watch, where a client was fighting for the custody, rightfully so, and the other side would not give in. I will give you one case at a time example. In this video, just one case. I'm going to change names, countries, children's names, a little bit of facts, so that it's not recognizable directly to that particular client. A few years back, I had a client coming to my office and telling that that client spoke to many attorneys. Nobody would want to take the case because the facts were very difficult. And he was accused to be an abuser of domestic violence. They had a 4-year-old child, and he wanted joint custody. The facts were broken computer, broken windshield, and he said, yes, I did it. So that became a big challenge. However, when I digged into the story deeper, it turned out she planned it exactly how she wanted it to be in order to get sole custody. And after cutting through suspense, after 6 days of trial, he got 50% custody and visitation for his child. So the story goes like this. He travels to another country, meets this woman, they date only for 2 months, and she moves to America because he sponsors her. Red flags are sinking in. She didn't disclose she had a very, how should I put it? I don't want to say the diagnosis, but she had a disease where it's contagious and could get on a person who contracts it and doesn't know it could die. So she basically was a liar from the beginning, and they had a child. And at the time when he came to my office, the child was 4 years old. At that time, when 6309 Family Code section didn't exist, I was able to send her a deposition notice and depose her and get all the records leading to all these incidences. And what I did see is that she planned it systematically. She joined a family law-related women group of domestic abuse, and she learned from other women's stories how they were able to get sole custody, how they were able to set it up so that they didn't have to share. In some countries, I could say that with confidence, is in some countries, women have automatic sole custody. And so from countries that they have that attitude, they don't understand California law. Why should men get 50%? So you are dealing with an attitude of entitlement. This child should be 100% mine, and dad is basically a sperm donor. That's the attitude I was dealing with. So she created different scenarios where, for example, she said financial abuse, but it turns out he is the working parent, she's not, and he put all his salary into a joint account. She used it as she pleased. She decided to go for a month's trip to India and meditate without a child while the child is 2 years old and he's working 40, 60 hours a week job. So he was basically with the child, taking care of the child while she was using community money to spend on her self-development. He dealt with all of that, but the bottom line was, when she filed for domestic violence restraining order, he said, I did hit the windshield, but I'm not an abuser. I never hit her. I wanted to stop the car from going because she was taking our son without my consent, and the child didn't have seatbelt, and I wanted to prevent that from happening. And I don't know how the windshield broke, but I was just saying stop and hit in the wrong space, and then it shattered. But even then, when she drove off 60 miles on a 20-mile-per-hour street, the first thing she did, she took a video of the windshield and herself complaining about what happened, when the child was still not having seatbelt. So basically, she didn't care about the safety of the child. She cared about recording everything so she can get the child for her. And she was very jealous of the relationship my client, the child had. My client was an engineer, so he was very well organized, which is a great characteristic for a client when they need evidence. So he created an Excel sheet of every single time when they went, where they went, how percentage, and basically he spent more than 50% time with their child. And when all of that came out about the text messages she exchanged with her girlfriends, her intention to set it all up, her planning to leave abruptly and provoke this situation where he would try to stop her, was all planned. And so in 6 days, her friends testified how she wanted it. His friends testified. He testified. She testified. And the court did find him credible, her not credible. As such, dismissed the restraining order against him and gave them 50-50 custody. Before that all went down, I went to that law firm. I'm not going to say names here. And I have been there 3 times. And I did my best to discuss that this case was an attorney showing all the evidence that will show that he's not an abuser. He was in a bad situation. They were fighting and they would divorce and get joint custody, which happened in the end. But the other side was demanding that this go through trial. Eventually, this woman lost her credibility with the court forever because each time she filed another motion to travel with the child to the country of her origin or change the passport or renew the passport for that country, the court always denied her request because she was a flight risk. And happy to say that father is absolutely not regretting having gone through this process because if he didn't, it would be so difficult to get equal timeshare if he just gave up. And he has a really good relationship with his child and he has new partners. So things worked out. But I like what Judge Wiley says in these type of cases before it begins. She says to the parties, do you really want your attorney's children to go to college or your children to go to college? Because after all this process is completed, that's what will happen. Please talk to each other, see if you can reach an agreement. And so the moral of this video hopefully is before you burn through everything that the children should get, think twice. Because lawyers will do what you tell them to do. A lawyer cannot do a frivolous action, but if it's a gray area, which in domestic violence, until the evidence is presented, you never know, think twice. If you're going through divorce and you would like to have everything in one place in an engaging way, this is your book. As a divorcee and a child of divorce, a divorce family law specialist, divorce attorney in California, I created this book to help you understand the divorce process without getting lost or without getting a heart attack. You can buy it on Amazon in all formats, including audio format. I'm not saying that if you're truly a victim of domestic violence that you shouldn't be fighting for your rights and seek protection. I'm talking about exactly like this kind of case, where it's not truly domestic abuse, it's more about meticulous planning of getting sole custody at 100% leveraging the system. So if you have any questions, ask them down in the comment section below, and I will see you in my next consultation. Bye!